Moses was born into perilous times, a time when the Pharaoh of Egypt had decreed a brutal law. All Hebrew baby boys were to be killed at birth. The Hebrews, enslaved and oppressed by the Egyptians, lived under constant fear. As Moses entered the world, his cries would have been met not with joy, but terror, for his existence, as a boy child, marked him for death. But his mother, a woman of courage and faith, refused to surrender to fear. For 3 months, she hid her baby, holding him close, muffling his cries, praying with desperation. She knew the danger. Pharaoh's soldiers roamed the streets, vigilant and ruthless, ready to enforce the king's orders. And yet, Moses' mother was determined. She was driven by a love that defied logic and a faith that transcended fear. When hiding him became impossible, she crafted a plan born of equal parts desperation and hope. She took reeds from the banks of the Nile and wove them into a basket, coating it with pitch to make it waterproof. With trembling hands, she placed her baby inside, her tears mingling with the river's flow as she pushed the basket into the water. Entrusting him to God's hands, she let him drift beneath the watchful eye of his sister, Miriam, crouched along the riverbank. The tiny basket, cradling the infant Moses, bobbed along the current until it came to rest near the palace. And there, of all people, the Pharaoh's daughter found him. The princess gazed inside the basket and saw the helpless baby, his cries piercing her heart. She knew he was Hebrew, one of the very children her father sought to destroy. Yet she didn't turn him away. Instead, Pharaoh's daughter chose to save him, to protect him, and to raise him as her own within the luxuries of the royal palace. So Moses grew up, a Hebrew raised in an Egyptian court, a boy caught between two worlds. His heritage tied him to the suffering of his enslaved people, yet his upbringing surrounded him with privilege and power. As he matured, this tension shaped him, though his true purpose had yet to be revealed. One day, Moses' future came rushing toward him. He witnessed an Egyptian taskmaster beating a Hebrew slave, and rage erupted within him. Unable to bear the sight of injustice, Moses intervened, and in his fury, killed the Egyptian. But this act marked him as a fugitive. Fearful of Pharaoh's wrath, Moses fled Egypt and escaped to the wilderness. There, in the vast silence of the desert, Moses built a new life. He married, shepherded flocks, and began a quieter existence. Yet the divine hadn't forgotten him. On the contrary, God was waiting for exactly the right moment to reveal Moses' destiny. And so it happened. In the stillness of Mount Horeb, Moses encountered the extraordinary. A bush burning with fire, yet unconsumed. The spectacle stopped him in his tracks, and as he drew closer, he heard a voice that would alter the course of his life and history itself. It was the voice of God. God called Moses by name, commissioning him for a divine mission, to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, out of slavery, into freedom, a journey toward the promised land. But Moses hesitated. Me? He thought. I'm not eloquent. I'm not strong enough. I'm just a shepherd. Yet God assured him, I will be with you. It wasn't about Moses' power, but God's. Empowered by divine purpose and armed with God's promises, Moses returned to Egypt. Through miraculous signs and unwavering resolve, Moses confronted Pharaoh, delivering one simple demand: let my people go. Moses went from an infant floating helplessly in a river to a shepherd standing before kings to the leader of a nation on the brink of liberation. His story is one of faith, courage, and a calling that was greater than himself. A reminder that even in the darkest times, purpose can rise from the ashes, carried by the breath of the divine. Thanks for watching this video, and also consider subscribing to this channel for more video on faith and spirituality.